Hello and welcome to the look ahead for Friday, the 24th of November, with me, Fiona Cincotta, Senior Market Analyst at City Index. So tomorrow we do not have any major earnings that we'll be watching out for. Also, just bear in mind that the US Thanksgiving celebrations continue. The US stock markets will be open for just half a day. As far as the economic calendar is concerned, though, there is still plenty to be watching. So we'll kick off with data from Germany. Now, you've got two pieces of data from Germany, the GDP and the IFO business climate. Now, the German IFO business climate is expected to improve slightly from 86.9 to 87.5. The data still, as we can see from this chart, is down at historically low levels, but it does suggest that that tick higher means that maybe we've seen a bottoming out there. Now that would be good news for the GDP data, not for the third quarter. We're getting third quarter final reading tomorrow. That's expected to confirm the 0.1% contraction quarter on quarter. But if we do see that slight improvement in the IFO figures, we also saw that the PMI data today showed that the contraction in Germany was slightly slower than in October. Which again just points to this idea that perhaps we're seeing a bottoming out there of that weakness in the German economy. Now, that sort of weakness is not being shown directly in the DAX, which has powered higher across November. But what we're seeing playing out here is the prospect that the ECB and the Federal Reserve are at the end of their rate hiking cycles. And that's really boosted stocks in Europe and in US alike. We can see here on the chart, the DAX has powered up above the 200 SMA there, and it's just testing resistance at the 6,000 level. Now, do beware, the RSI is considerably in overbought territory, so could see some consolidation at these levels, or if not, a slight fall lower. If we did see a push higher, then beyond the 16,000 level, we'll be looking for around the 16,430. That was the June high. On the downside, I think the DAX might find some support there on the 200 SMA, which is at the 15,675 level. Below there, I think we could see the near-term uptrend negated. Just moving on then to what else we will be watching tomorrow. We've also got data from we've also got a speech from ECB President Lagarde. Again, that will be relevant for the DAX. Also, some data from Canada. Retail sales, they are expected to be flat month on month in September after falling 0.1%. We're seeing, there's more data from Canada coming out next week, but we are seeing that the economy there is starting to slow as the impact of the Bank of Canada's rate hikes are starting to play out. And we've also heard from the governor, Tiff Macklem, who said that he believes that interest rates have reached a sufficiently restrictive level. So it does look like the Bank of Canada may be at the end of their rate hiking cycle too. Just moving on with US data. Obviously, there was no US data today due to Thanksgiving. Do have some numbers coming out tomorrow, the US PMIs. The service sector, that will be one that we'll be particularly watching, is expected to just ease slightly to 50.4 from 50.6. Manufacturing is expected to tip into contraction at 49.8, down from 50. Just remember, the level 50 separates expansion from contraction. I think an interesting one to be watching right now is gold. Obviously, this is relevant to the performance of the US economy, just tying in with the idea of that US dollar weakness that we've seen on the expectations that the Federal Reserve has reached the end of its rate hiking cycle. So the focus this week has been on that and sort of we've had slightly stronger data, I'd say, from the US this week with those jobless claims, and also there's slightly more hawkish than expected FOMC minutes. But we can see from the gold chart here, gold has it powered off support on the 200 SMA. That was down at 1931, pushed higher, and it's just trying to test resistance around that 2000 level. 2009 is the level that it needs to beat. But actually, it looks like we could have a double top forming there at that 2009 level. We would need a close above there in order for the gold price to break out of range and look towards the 2050 level, which was the April high. But if that does prove to be a double top, then we could see a reverse lower back towards that 1931 support level, which was the November low, and it's also just around the 200 SMA as well. Just looking at the RSI there, we can see that as gold powered high, we've got that bearish divergence, which does suggest, well, it also supports the view that perhaps the gold runs higher is running out of steam. That's all for me today. If you like what you've seen, then please remember to give my video a like and also follow for more videos like this.